Hey guys, Dr. Kahu here and welcome back to my channel. Now today I'm going to be doing a new what if in this short series 20-minute video, and that is what if Deku had a super copy quirk, part 1. Now as usual guys, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and because you guys have been so awesome and patient, 150 likes for part 2 guys, 150 likes to bring out part 2 right away. And knowing that guys, I'm just going to let you know that the reason why I'm not bringing out no 1 hour videos is because one, I don't have the time to bring it out, so I can only do 20-minute videos just for now, just for the rest of the week probably. And yeah, not only that guys, for the rest of the week I will be bringing out 20-minute videos, but I'll probably do 2 to 3 videos a day. I hope you guys look forward to it, and they're going to be My Hero Academia ones because I got lots of those. And not only that guys, I'm just going to let you guys stay tuned. Thanks to you guys for making me reach 20,000 subscribers. You guys are awesome. Thank you for that. And not only that guys, I hope you guys stay tuned for me altering my channel. What I mean by that is all my old what if videos, I'm going to do remakes on this channel, and all my new videos that I'm going to be eventually doing, I'm going to be making it on my other channel. Okay guys, so stay tuned. But as usual guys, let's get into this new what if, and that is what if Deku had a super copy quirk, part 1. So of course, let the story begin. Now, our story is going to take place 10 years before the actual first episode of the series begins. What ends up going down is young Izuku Midoria is going to school, and on his birthday, what ends up going down is Izuku is looking forward to having his quirk, his 4-year-old birthday. Even Katsuki Bakugo, his best friend, is also looking forward to their quirk as well. And so, right before the day Bakugo Katsuki gets his quirk, Izuku is at home, and what happens is he's watching his mum use her quirk right in front of him. And what ends up happening is he has a bad headache, and he tells his mum, "Hey mum, I got a headache. I think I need to go to sleep." Alright Izuku, go lie down, I'll give you some water. And so she takes Izuku to bed, gives him some water, he goes to sleep. What ended up happening though is young Izuku, he activated his quirk, he just didn't know it yet, okay? And so what happens is Izuku wakes up the next morning, and Inka goes, "Oh, morning Izuku, are you alright?" "Yeah mom, I'm feeling strange for all of a sudden." She goes, "Oh, you're feeling strange? What's the matter?" And Izuku walks over, and he's watching his mum grab a fork, or grab her chopsticks, whatever she eats with. And Izuku's watching that, and he does the same thing. He leans to get the remote, and the remote smacks Izuku straight in the head. And Izuku's like, "Ah!" And Inko's like, "What's the matter, Izuku? What's the matter?" "I went to go reach for the remote, and it hit me in the head." And she said, "What? Hit you in the head? Yeah. Do that again?" And Inko takes the remote from Izuku, and he goes to reach for it, and the remote instantly goes to Izuku. Now, the reason why it hit his head, because Izuku was too slow to catch it. It hit his head and rebounded and donked him in the head. Did it to him twice, right in front of Inko this time. So Izuku's got a sore his head, real big bump on his head, and Inko is so proud of her son. Her son has her quirk, you know? And so when she takes Izuku, before he goes to school, she takes Izuku to the quirk doctor, and while this is going down, Katsuki Bakugo's quirk has activated at school. And this thing now is Izuku Midoriya is not there to watch it, okay, so there's going to be a big divide. But anyway, what goes down is Izuku goes to the doctors, and he sees the doctor, of course. Now, the mother explains Izuku's quirk manifesting, and she will like to get him tested. And this time, the doctor is not Dr. Ujuko or Dr. Garaki, okay? It's just going to be a normal quirk doctor. I'm just going to state it for change for the story, okay? Because then I'll ruin everything if I go too far. But anyway, the normal doctor checks over Izuku's quirk, takes him and do some studies, finds out, yes, of course, your son has a quirk, but I'm unsure how to explain it to you, Inko. And she goes, "What quirk is it? Is it like mine?" "Well, yes and no. You see, your son..." Let me explain something. Your son is the seed, and his quirk is the tree trunk, right? Coming out of the earth. Well, his tree trunk is energized as if really powerful. And what goes down is your quirk is connected to part of his tree, like a branch. And Inko's like "What are you talking about?" And he goes, "Your son has a copy quirk. He can copy anyone's quirk. Now, I'm unsure how long your son can utilize this quirk for, or utilize your abilities for, but your son has a branch that is your quirk, if you look at it really carefully here." Inko looks at the really, really detailed doctor analysis of Izuku's quirk, and she has no idea. And he goes, "Simply put, your son has the ability to copy anyone's quirk, passively or physically touching, I believe." And she's like, "Oh, is that a good thing? Oh, don't you worry. It looks like majority of the passive quirks that your son has absorbed have turned into, how to explain, leaves." And Inko's like, "What? What do you mean, passively absorbed?" "Well, you gotta understand, I believe your son has a range of copying quirks, so everyone he's around, he's copying their quirks passively." And Inko's like, oh, alright. And so all you need to do is you make sure your son's okay. See a quirk therapist every so often to help keep your son's quirks in check. And not only that, write down all the quirks your son's able to manifest over a period of time. And keep time and dates of how long his quirks last for. And he goes like, oh, alright, I will, doctor. And to young Izuku Midoriya, from my perspective, you're going to become a great hero one day. Rescue and proper hero, regardless. Alright? And he gives Izuku a lollipop. Have a good day, young Izuku. Izuku thanks the doctor and he walks out and his mum's like, wow, mum, I have a quirk? That's gonna be so cool. Yeah. And Izuku looks at his mum and goes, hey, mum, I can see writing over your head. And goes like, where? She looks at her stuff and she don't see nothing. When Izuku looks at Inko, he can see her quirk name. And what her quirk kind of looks like. So your quirk is telekinesis, right, mum? And she goes, yes. How were you able to say that word, son? I can see it over your head. For some reason, I can understand it. That's strange. And as Izuku's walking home, he's seeing all these people's random quirks. He doesn't realize he's copying them. But Izuku has to meet a certain condition to get the quirk as Inko's quirk is, okay? So what goes down is Izuku goes home and Inko starts to get Izuku ready for the next day. And so what happens is Izuku goes to school the next day and tells Bakugo about his quirk. But what happens is when Bakugo shows Izuku his quirk, Izuku's like, whoa, Kachan, that's cool. Izuku touches Bakugo's hand or arm. In doing so, Izuku's eyes glowed green. And let's go and he goes, my head. What was that? And Bakugo's like, Izuku, are you alright? Yeah, stay back, Kachan. Izuku lifts his hand up and little sparks fire out of Izuku's hand. An explosion happens right in front of Bakugo. And it's massive, okay? And Bakugo and his friends get sent flying. And Izuku's like, oh my gosh, his hand's burning. He's screaming in absolute pain. And Katsuki Bakugo is injured and so is his two friends. And so what happens is all four of the boys get rushed to the hospital. Where Izuku wakes up 2 days later with Inko by his side. Katsuki Bakugo is fine, he's healed, and so is the two other boys. There's a police officer with Inko with Izuku, and what goes down is the police officer is none other than the police officer actually, and he explains to Inko that what your son pretty much did was a real dangerous situation. I believe your son needs some quirk therapy to help him control and rein in his quirk. And so what happens is Bakugo explains the situation that he was showing Izuku his quirk and Izuku touched his head and his eyes glowed. When Inko heard this, she's like, his eyes glowed. I thought he needed to copy quirks just from afar. And so what ends up going down is Izuku's nervous, because he's scared he killed his friends or hurt his friends badly. But what goes down is it's far from the truth, and not only that, the situation that happened actually destroyed any form of relationship for him and his friends. And I'll explain a little bit later. But what goes down is Izuku is told by the doctors that Izuku can copy quirks. Yes, passively being around them in a certain amount of field. If he wants to put the field about 10 to 20 meters max. However, if he makes contact with you, then Izuku can copy your quirk to a heightened stance. And she's like, what do you mean? Izuku, are you able to lift this up? And Izuku lifts up, puts his hands up and he accidentally lifts everything in the room. And he goes like, I can't do that. And he goes, I see. Well, remember when I told you about young Midoriya's tree trunk, his quirk, right? Yeah, well, it's supercharged. So all your quirks are being supercharged by his copy quirk. And because now, if you look at it, he's now got a brand new branch. He has your branch there and another branch. And she's like, oh, but what's all these dots over here? And the doctor explains, these are all the passive quirks your son's connecting to. They're connected to your branch and now Katsuki Bakugo's branch. And she's kind of shocked and so is Izuku. And she goes, is this dangerous? And he goes, yes, it's very dangerous right now because your son can utilize a quirk beyond his body's capability at this present time. At the same time, more beyond what the person is capable at this present time as well. And she goes, oh, okay. And so the doctor gives Izuku some gloves and tells him if he wants to copy and utilize the quirk, he needs to take the gloves off and do so. But he needs to practice over a period of time. So bring Izuku in once every week and we'll go over a quirk analysis. And so that's what happens for the next few years in Izuku's life. But what goes down when Izuku finally comes back to school, however, Katsuki Bakugo demonizes Izuku. He goes, how dare you use my quirk, Deku? Izuku's like, Deku? What's that name, Kachan? I didn't mean to use a quirk. It's just my quirk can copy your quirk. It's a thief. Deku, you copy my quirk. And he goes, I'm gonna blow you up when I get older. You wait, Deku. His hands are sparking. But he realizes that his explosions are nothing to Izuku's. Izuku's explosion was so massive that it sent him flying and made a little crater around him. And so Izuku's upset, and he goes home the next day, or goes home that day and tells his mum, and she goes, "You gotta understand, Izuku, that they can't help it, but you're not a villain, alright?" Izuku, "Okay, alright, mom." And so what goes down is, after Izuku goes backwards and forth to the Quirk doctors, they begin to understand Izuku's abilities. Izuku can remember all the abilities he copies if he writes them all down, but any ability he touches and copies properly, instead of passively, Izuku permanently keeps those quirks. And he doesn't need to remember them. He can just think of explosions, and explosions come out of his hands, or he can remember how to use his mum's telekinesis. That's a given, okay? And what goes down is, all the other quirks Izuku absorbs passively, yeah, these quirks are different, okay? He can still utilize them, but they start off from zero, in a sense. They start off from, well, if Izuku first had them growing up, and he has to build them up himself, okay? And so there goes the situation. Izuku has to make physical contact to get not only the quirk permanently, and absolute access to, but also its supervision to it, okay? And so what goes down is, Izuku, for the next few years, he's training with the Quirk doctor and the Quirk therapist, trying to understand how to utilize his quirk properly. And Izuku found that his quirk copying range is 20 meters. He can utilize two quirks at the same time, both permanent and not permanent, and he's able to filter through. And so Izuku's still a mega nerd, okay, and he writes down all his quirk analysis stuff, and he doesn't have 1 or 2 books, he's got hundreds of quirk books written down, okay, because Izuku, he accidentally copied a quirk by accident that gave him passive knowledge, or easy access to knowledge, and Izuku didn't realize that passive quirks themselves kind of tend to operate on their own and connect with his abilities. So Izuku doesn't have a super intelligent quirk, but he has a quirk that makes him knowledgeable. And so he writes down all the quirks that he has, breaks them all down to a T, okay? He still has his hero analysis books, but he has a quirk analysis books for himself. He needs these. And so what goes down is, I'm gonna skip a little bit to age 10, okay? This is when young Izuku is being told that his quirk and his abilities is coming to a point in time where he needs to actually work on his physical stature. And so from age 10 to age 14, Izuku is pushed physically, not to use his quirk at all, but to use his physicality, his body, you know, running, jumping, squats, sit-ups, all that stuff. Not pushing him too far because he's a 10-year-old kid, but what goes down is Izuku's dramatically changed. He pretty much got pulled out of the kindergarten and the school that Katsuki Bakugo went, and pretty much stayed with quirk therapy and homeschooled with his mother. And so Izuku has dramatically changed. Now, the 3 quirks that Izuku technically has is, or the 2 main quirks that Izuku technically uses only, is telekinesis and explosions. But there's a quirk that Izuku wants to grab that he remembers. Now, if you guys don't remember in the first episode when Izuku and Bakugo are in class, and what goes down is, and when they all are celebrating because the teacher's like, "Where do you guys all want to go? Blah, 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 Hero Academy." There's a girl in their class that uses a water quirk. I believe that's called water jet or water control. I'm not sure, but I'm just going to say it's a water jet quirk, okay? I remember that very carefully, and Izuku copied that quirk. So that's the 3rd quirk Izuku has with him fully. So he can utilize this water quirk to neutralize Bakugo's explosions, but at the same time, Izuku don't really like the quirk. So he figures out over the next 4 years that he can pull any quirk that he has out of from the leaves and can reconnect it to a branch and make that super. But he only realizes that he can only make 5 of those like that, and all the rest of the quirks he has to grow them up, make them stronger. And so there's a problem. So Izuku, he has 3 quirks, 3 main quirks he will use, but one of them he always questions. But anyway, on his last day at homeschool, pretty much, Izuku goes out. You know, his mum is happy for him. He pretty much passed, and knowing that the Quirk doctors believe Izuku is ready for the UA Hero Academia course. So what goes down is, for the next 10 months, Izuku begins to train. But what goes down is Izuku is sent by his mum to town to get something, and she's told him not to fly. So Izuku, but he will respect her. As he's walking, he's seen the aftermath of the battle between Mountain Lady, Kamui Woods, and Dead Arms against a supervillain. And what happens is, Mountain Lady walks past Izuku, and Izuku sees her, and he's just so super fanboy to all 3 of them. So he gets his hero book and goes, "Excuse me, Mountain Lady, Kamui Woods, even you Dead Arms, can I get an autograph?" And they look at him, and what happens is, Kamui Woods is like, "Yeah, kid." And Izuku's like, "Yes." Mountain Lady's like, I'm unsure. Should I give you this? And Izuku's like, please. And when she looks at him, she can see how really buff this little kid is. And she's like, ooh, this kid. She writes down in Izuku's book, and Izuku's kind of blushing because she went from looking at him with with, should I really, to envious eyes at him. And Izuku's like kind of blushing, and Deadam's like, enough with this lady. Here, kid. Thank you for your support, Izuku. Thank you. Can I shake your guys' hands, please? If Mount Lady's like, Kamu was like, sorry, kid. No. Alright, and Deadam's like, you know what? Alright, kid. And he goes to shake Izuku's hand. Izuku touches Deadam's hand, and his eyes go green. He copies Deadam's quirk up until the point where Deadam says how strong he is with the quirk. And Izuku's body gets a little bit more ripped up. And what goes on? He goes, ah. He goes, are you right, kid? Yeah, sorry, my quirk went out the fritz. Sorry about that. It's alright, kid. Again, thank you for the support, kid. Thank you guys. You guys are awesome. Izuku now having Deadam's super strength pushed to a super version to it. He's like, oh, right. He was about to do Mount Lady, but she goes, well, sorry, kid, we gotta go. And Izuku's like, oh, alright. Now, Izuku has copied all their quirk passively, but out of them, he's got Deadam's super strength, and this is gonna bode well for him in the future. Let me tell you that. Izuku can do form of like a kind of a super jump using the quirk, and he can punch things, but that works towards his telekinesis, okay? And so, as Izuku's walking forward, he gets his mum's ingredients and he begins to walk home. He walks the long way home, and as he walks home, he sees Katsuki Bakugo. And he's like, Kachan. He walks away, because Izuku got demonized at school, okay? He didn't get bullied, he just got demonized for copying his quirk, but they call him a thief, so Izuku don't care. He walks away, and Bakugo doesn't see Izuku. And what happens is Izuku's walking down a footpath thinking to himself, I wonder how strong he's become with this quirk. Izuku opens his hand, a massive explosion let out. And Izuku goes, it took me a long time to get used to this, but thanks to Deadam's quirk, permanently having it, I'm strong enough to utilize it now. I can remove that water quirk. And so Izuku focuses, and as he's standing underneath the bridge, he has his eyes closed, he's looking up. There it is, where is it? There it is. He gets rid of the copy quirk, and it's the water quirk, and replaces that with the super strength quirk, you know? Super version to it. And as Izuku goes, that's better. And Izuku feels his body really take it. He's like, whoa, alright. It feels better if I just have the least amount of super quirks. Doesn't divide my power too much. I like it, actually, Izuku's thinking. And he's like, He feels something behind him, and as he turns around, a sludge monster comes out all the pores, holes of the, what's it called? Well, the manhole, and as he comes out, he goes, I didn't know he was here. Why the hell is he here? And looks, oh, my hero. Hey kid, I'm just gonna use your body for a second as my vessel. Sorry about this, no hard feelings, right? He rushes at Izuku, and when Izuku sees this, he goes, give this a go. He puts his arm back and he throws a punch using Deadam's super strength. Izuku doesn't realize that, but he punched the air so hard, sending the sludge monster splattered everywhere. And before Izuku wanted to let him spat away, Izuku opened his hand up again, and he uses his mum's quirk, and he pulls all the sludge monster's quirk into him. And Izuku's like, whoa, you got an interesting quirk. He closes around the sludge monster and holds him there. And Izuku goes, he analyzes it, and the sludge monster's like, what the hell? How are you? How did you? And Izuku goes, shh. I'm writing something down. Izuku uses his telekinesis ability to grab a book out. He grabs a pen and he begins to write down, sludge monster quirk, sludge. Izuku writes down, and the sludge monster's like, let me go, kid. And as it's going down, Izuku doesn't realize, but All Might's there. Until Izuku realizes something when he hears a step, and he feels it. Izuku's heart instantly pounds, and he collapses to the ground, releasing the sludge monster. And he's like, what is this power? I've never felt this before. Izuku starts to spew. His body's starting to really hurt. And All Might's like, hey, kid, what did you just do here? The sludge monster looks at All Might and goes, All Might, I surrender, sir. Please. And All Might goes, good, now stay right there. And if I have to chase you, you're gonna get a Detroit smash straight to the face. And the sludge monster's like, anything, sir, anything. He's scared of the little boy, and All Might's there. Oh my gosh. When he goes over, hey kid, are you okay? And Izuku looks up, and his eyes are glowing green, and All Might's like, whoa. And Izuku's like, All Might, I'm sorry. And Izuku's like, All Might, and he's like, yeah kid, are you okay? Why do you have multiple quirks? All Might looks at Izuku. Huh? And Izuku completely collapses. And what goes down is All Might forces the sludge monster in the 2-liter bottle, and he waits for Izuku. Izuku wakes up, and All Might's like, hey kid, you okay? And Izuku's like, yeah. All Might. He gets up. I wasn't a dream. Izuku's flying over All Might. This is so cool. I can't believe you're my hero. All Might. I'm just so crying. Izuku's crying. Thank you so much. Blah, 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 blah. And All Might's like, hey kid, slow down. First things first, one, you are flying, which is pretty cool. Izuku's like, oh, oops, sorry for using my Quirk. I didn't mean to. He tried to attack me, and it's alright, kid. I saw what you did. You passively did it. It was really awesome. In fact, I'm really envious of the Quirk that you have. What is it, like telekinesis? No, actually, my Quirk is really dangerous to be honest. And it was dangerous? How? Well, you see, I can copy people's quirks, and not only that, I can identify and understand people's quirks. And almost goes, you can copy quirks? And Izuku goes, yeah, but for some reason I copied your quirk, but it hurt me. It hurt me really badly. In fact, I feel weird because of it. Almost like, you copied my quirk? Yeah, one for all. Almost like, and what goes down, he grabs Izuku and goes, we need to talk somewhere. He almost jumps away with Izuku, because he got the sludge monster, and he goes, I'm sorry kid, but we couldn't talk over there. One, I'm running out of time, and I need to take this monster away. Now tell me quickly, how the hell do you know about One For All? Izuku's like, he can't say anything because the breeze and the wind is hitting him, and so Izuku's like, can we land? I'll tell you everything. And All Might goes, alright. He lands with Izuku, and the sludge monster falls out of his pocket, like in canon, and he goes harass Katsuki Bakugo like in canon. But what happens is Izuku's standing with All Might, and he goes, well, spill it kid, how do you know about One For All, my quirk? Tell me the truth now. Are you working for All For One? And All Might's ready, you know? But what happens is Izuku's like, no, All Might, you see, I do copy quirks. And poof, Izuku looks up. All he sees is a skeletal man. He's like, All Might. And he goes, yes, kid. And that's when we leave this what-if, guys. I hope you guys like this what-if. Please subscribe and like it if you want part 2. And just note, I'll bring out more what-ifs like this eventually, okay, guys? But as usual, guys, this is Dr. Kahu saying peace.